Yeah, warm welcome back to Live from Paris. It's time for Campaign Chronicles now, our daily look at the race for the French presidency. With just 20 days to go, the politicians and the media, in fact, getting very excited indeed. But a lot of voters, well, they're not feeling quite so enthusiastic. A poll for today's Le Parisien suggests as many as 32% of voters say they're so turned off by the campaign they will not be voting at all. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now by our press reviewer, Elena Casas, who's with us as ever. What on earth's putting them off then, Elena?
Well, according to Le Parisien, which has been out boxing or talking to ordinary people in the street, finding out why they're not going to vote, it's because the tone of the campaign is putting them off. Now, they've got this poll on their front page, 32% of people saying they will not vote in the first round. And even the people they talk to who say they're sure to vote, they've got two main problems. One, the candidates just aren't talking enough about the subjects people are really interested in. That's spending power, getting to the ends of the month, unemployment, housing. They all say candidates have not had enough to say about those topics. Nicolas Sarkozy is putting his favourite topics closest to his heart at the centre of his campaign. That's things like security, law and order, immigration. But that's not what people want to hear about, the polls say. And François Hollande, at least according to a majority of voters, is running too negative a campaign, focusing too much on just getting rid of Nicolas Sarkozy instead of positioning himself positively as a future president. So that's one issue. They're not happy with what the candidates are talking about. The other is the language the candidates are using in their campaign, and specifically how much they've attacked one another. A lot of voters telling Le Parisien the campaign is too violent. In other words, that means politicians are insulting one another too much and not spending enough time actually trying to appeal to ordinary voters. Now, this would, of course, be pretty bad news for French democracy if the turnout was that low, because 32% staying away from the polls, that would be a record low turnout, the lowest since World War II. The last time round, in 2007, there was actually a record high turnout. Only 16% stayed away, so that means 84% did go and vote. So something has gone wrong then between this campaign and the last one. Last time, the paper says, Ségolène Royal's socialist campaign might have had a lot of flaws, but it did manage to get a lot of people like the young and the working classes who might otherwise be disinterested in politics to actually participate and vote. François Hollande is not mobilising those people.
It'd be fantastic if we could have the actual rating with us now from a few weeks' time to see whether it comes true, doesn't it? Lack of enthusiasm for the main candidates, does that help some of the other candidates, though?
Well, that's what Le Figaro says. They say that one person who is mobilising those young and working class voters, of course, is the far left candidate, Jean-Luc Mélenchon, who's going up and up and up, profiting really from François Hollande's mistakes. Their front page says that Mélenchon's changing everything for Hollande, and their editorial says this could, of course, work out well for their candidate, Nicolas Sarkozy, because Hollande is the one who stands most to lose from a low turnout, because, of course, they're his voters, those young and working class ones who are less inclined to go to the polls. Sarkozy, on the other hand, can then win, they reckon, if the turnout is low, because he can win over more centrist voters, because Mélenchon's going to push Hollande to the left. It's questionable, though, how many centrist voters there really are. Libération focuses on them this morning. They've got this all-yellow front page, the cover of the centrists, with Bayrou lost in the middle in tiny writing. That's because the centrist candidate François Bayrou, the third man just a couple of weeks ago, is now fifth behind Mélenchon and Marine Le Pen. So the amount of political space in the centre seems to be diminishing as both the candidates and the voters go to the right and left.
OK, well, what are the political parties actually doing then to try and encourage people to turn out to vote? Catherine Viette takes a look.
With just 3 weeks before the first round of voting in the French presidential election, many would-be voters say they're thinking of staying away from the polls.
They're all the same. They'll say anything to get votes. There's no point.
With the current fragile economic situation, there's been no real solution given for it.
Volunteers from the different political parties are out and about, trying to convince voters. But many say they're still not sure who they'll choose.
I'm undecided. The debates didn't really do anything for me.
Hollande in the first round, but then maybe there's Bayrou. But I don't really know. I'm more likely to vote left.
Even if the presidential campaign has been going on for months, many voters say they may wait to the last minute to make up their minds.
There are positive and negative points, but I don't know. We'll see.
When will you decide?
On D-Day.
The first round of voting takes place on April 22nd, and the second round concludes on May 6th.
That's Campaign Chronicles. More from me and Elena tomorrow. Latest news next.